Hi, welcome back to my channel. So, over the last 2 years, I've managed to lose 7 stone. That's almost £100. And one of the big things that helped me along that journey was finding a way to address my snacking. So that's what I want to talk about today, how we can stop snacking and start eating properly. We all live in an environment in this country where there's an abundance of food and there is an absolute overwhelming abundance of snack foods. And I think we're led to believe that it's the norm to just eat all day in between our meals, have snacks whenever we need it. And even that if we don't have snacks, somehow we're harming our health. You know, who hasn't been told, well, your metabolism will slow down if you don't eat often enough, or your blood sugar will drop if you don't eat often enough. In fact, it's only getting the control of my snacking that has made me feel much more stabilized in my blood sugar highs and lows. It's made me feel that I enjoy my food, my actual meals more. And it has immensely helped in my journey to losing the weight and feeling healthier. So I think to get on top of this issue of snacking, if this is something you want to address and you know is sabotaging your health, wellness and potential weight loss, is to identify a few key things. First of all, when are you snacking? When's your danger time? For me, it was late afternoon, sort of from 3 o'clock on to about 5 p.m. I could eat anything in the house and I was hungry. I felt a bit shaky. I would get like a dip in my blood sugar. And I should say, I don't have a problem with blood sugar levels or diabetes or anything, but I would just feel like, oh gosh, I really need something. I really need something. And that, of course, was coming from not having had a particularly healthy, substantial quality lunch. But anyway, so for me, it was the afternoon, and I'll get on to later how I put in some steps to address that. And what are you doing when you snack? I mean, are you actually hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you just bored? Or do you associate snacking with a certain activity? Is it that you always go out for a cup of coffee in the afternoon and you think, well, I always have a coffee and then I always have a muffin or something with my coffee? I think sometimes we just attach an activity to a time or a feeling. Again, for me, that late afternoon time would be when my mood would dip a little. I'd be a bit bored. I'd be like, oh, it's not dinner time yet. And it's kind of the end of the day. And especially in the winter months when it would get dark, certainly that mood would drop. And that was like, let's go to the cupboard and see what I can find to eat. And it may be, as I say, you're just hungry. And if you are hungry, then that is the time to listen to your body and have a healthy, good snack that's going to nourish you, it's going to support you, and it's just going to carry you through to that next meal. Then I think you've got to look at what are you snacking on and what is that snack giving you? And what I mean by that is it giving you nourishment? Is it filling you up? Is it filling the actual hunger hole that your stomach is rumbling and you need something? If you're anything like I was, it's more likely it's not giving you sustenance. It's giving you a bit of comfort, a bit of happiness. It's filling some boredom. It's filling some time. It's something to do. And it becomes just that. I mean, how many times have you wandered into the kitchen before you even know it, you've got your hand in a bag of crisps or something, or you're rifling through the fridge and you think, oh, how did I get here? That's just what I do. That's just, it's snack time. Here I go. And then I think if you can look at where you're snacking and why you're snacking and how you feel when you're driven to that snack, then you can start to work towards minimizing that activity if that's what you want to do and if you've identified that that's a need for you. And then you can only snack, hopefully, when you actually need it, when your body's telling you, I need something here. I need something to bridge the gap between these two meals. I'm going to talk about some swaps you can make, replacing maybe some slightly unhealthy junky snacks for some better ones. But I think we can't just look at swapping good for bad, if you like, because it just doesn't address that need that we just talked about why you're snacking in the first place. And I think it is difficult to accept that it's not the norm. It has never been the norm to just graze all day. But of course, there's a lot of food out there. There's a lot of food manufacturers. They need to sell more products. And they're like, this is an ideal snack. This is what's going to be great. This is what's going to cheer you up in the morning. This is what's going to get you through the evening. You know, it's just accepted. Let's sit down and watch the TV in the evening. Well, you need snacks. You know, you're going, you're going for coffee. You need snacks with that. Whatever it is, it seems to be you need snacks. And you don't necessarily. And it's something that really, when you look at what it adds to your daily food intake and what it adds to potentially the more harmful foods that you're consuming, it can be a big chunk of the bad element of your diet, if you like. And I say diet as in just what you're consuming, not necessarily a weight loss diet. So what have I done, first of all, in terms of swaps? So I would, as I've said before, used to eat things like crisps, a lot of toast with peanut butter, toast with jam sometimes. And then I would go out, sometimes I would leave the house, go to the shop, buy like a chocolate, like a vegan chocolate bar, a flapjack, some sort of sweetie treaty type thing. Actually leave the house, go and buy that just because I wanted it, not because I needed the snack, just because I fancied it. And, that wasn't serving me really. So what I did initially was I did still have a small snack in the morning. I now no longer feel that I need that. I never feel hungry enough for it. I have my breakfast a little later and I have quite an early lunch, but that suits me and my body. I don't always snack in the afternoon either. I do if I feel I'm hungry. So what I would have would be something like some grapes with a few nuts or like a heaped teaspoon of peanut butter. I might have a couple of dates with some peanut butter or with some walnuts or some Brazil nuts. Sometimes I might just have a couple of Brazil nuts. As you can see, I like fruit and nuts. I might have a little plain yogurt with some seeds, some cacao powder, something like that stirred in. What I think has helped me is to keep the snacks really basic, really similar. I almost don't like to invite a lot of choice into that part of my eating because it overwhelms me, it confuses me, and too much. I don't need too much choice. It just needs to be something. It's just there to serve a purpose. If I feel a bit hungry late afternoon, I'll go to my cupboard, get a few almonds or something, eat them, maybe pick 2 or 3 grapes out the fridge, and that's enough. And I know that's enough. And then it's not occupying too much of my mind. So that when I do go out somewhere for the day, and I wanted that sweet treat, that niceness just for the sake of it, there's not guilt there because I haven't been having that every day at home. Another great tip is to always have some element of protein with your snack because it does keep you filled for longer rather than just like having, say, a few grapes. It's just a bit of a hit of sugar, and I guess that can make your energy dip quite quickly. So that's why I would always have like some nuts or some peanut butter or something, or some almond butter. So having that combination will keep you full for longer. And as I say, I have very small snacks now, and I just find that they are sufficing because I'm having the right thing. I've had the right thing for lunch, I'm having the right thing for my snack. So I get to my dinner and I'm not like crawling up the wall starving. Whereas in the past, I could have had 3 slices of toast, to be honest, and I still wouldn't have been satisfied in the afternoon. Some other swaps you could make that I don't have because they're not vegan, but that you might enjoy would be things like some apple with some slices of cheese, or other fruits with cheese. Some veg with hummus, I do have that sometimes, it's not my favourite. Yogurt with fruit and nuts. Sometimes if I've even pre-prepared a meal, or if I've got leftovers, I might just have 1 spoon of that. Just, you know, if I've got, say, some, I don't know, some scrambled tofu sitting in the fridge in a pot, or some sort of veggie stew, I might have a little spoon of that. I mean, that's not usual, but, you know, that can just tide you over. So there's lots of things you can have, but I would say that my key takeaways from what I've experienced are: keep it quite basic and simple. Don't overthink it. Keep it quite small but energy dense. So have that, you know, that protein hit, whether that's cheese, whether that's a little piece of, I don't know, chicken breast or something, or some nuts in my case, or nut butter, with maybe some veggie sticks or some fruit. Not dried fruit too much. If I have dates, I tend to only have 2, but that's also because they can upset my tummy if I have more than 2 dates in one go. But, you know, you don't want to be eating a massive handful of dried fruit, because it's, you know, it's quite sugary, and, you know, you wouldn't eat that much regular fruit. So, I mean, that's just a few ideas, but I do think that keeping it simple and making it almost like something you don't have to decide too much. You just know that you've got this small selection of things that you might have. Even I used to have sometimes a couple of oat cakes with a bit of nut butter on. That's quite nice as well. Another big thing I did after identifying my trigger time, which, as I say, for me is late afternoon, I made some changes to my timings of my meals. Now, I know some people call this intermittent fasting, or more correctly, time restricted eating. I follow this now, but I wouldn't say it has been the key to me losing weight, but it has massively helped me address my snack times. So what I do now is, I used to have breakfast quite, you know, I would be so hungry when I got up. I would have my breakfast as soon as I got up, maybe 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, something like that. And then I would have my lunch. I would have had potentially a snack about 11. I'd have my lunch about 1. Then, as we said before, I'd be grazing in the afternoon, and then I wouldn't have dinner till about 8. And I needed that big chunk of eating in the afternoon to get me to 8 o'clock. What I have found is, I've never been a nighttime snacker. I've never been one to really sit and eat after dinner, unless on the rare occasion maybe Stuart bought some popcorn or something. But, you know, that wasn't really my time where I felt the need to graze. So by essentially removing that big hunger period of late afternoon, I've managed to cut the snacks, because I found that by what I do now is, I have my breakfast maybe about 9. I have my lunch about 12:30, which I know is not a very big gap, but that's when I like to have it. Then if I'm hungry, I have the small snack in the afternoon, and then I have my dinner at about 6 p.m. And then after I've had my dinner, I don't eat anymore. Now, this is all very individual, I know. I find for me that I don't need to eat after that time. I sort of make a conscious choice that that's my eating window closed, but I never feel hungry in the evening, and I never feel snacky in the evening. Now, it might be for you that your danger time for snacking is in the evening. So maybe you could consider moving your eating window a little later. Maybe you have your breakfast at 10, if that's, you know, something you can do, and have your lunch a little later and move your dinner a little later. Or maybe, you know, you have your dinner at an earlier time, but you accommodate the need for that small, energy dense, protein, healthy snack mid-evening, and you already know what you're going to have. You're not sort of tempted to, you know, you don't think, well, I've got a cupboard full of crisps and popcorn and snack bars and things. You think, well, I know at 8:30 or 9 o'clock or whatever, I have to have a banana and some almonds or something. Again, taking that decision out of it, taking that overthinking out of it, I think can help. Another tiny little trick that I do as well is, I have a very small little tiny pots that I put my snacks in. It makes me feel a little bit fancy having a nice little pot, a little cute dish. And also I feel like, oh, look at me, I've got an entire dish of snack, even though it's a tiny one. And it's sort of, I don't know, it contains the amount, I suppose. Maybe that's just me, something silly. So I think if we could take that emotion out of snacking and that sort of feeling of the snack is a reward, what it's going to do is you're going to enjoy your meals more. And in fact, if you make a conscious decision, and it may seem counterintuitive, to put those yummy, delicious things that you love into your meal, you're going to feel more nourished. Because let's be honest, you're not going to pour a packet of crisps or popcorn or a chocolate bar on top of some really lovely, delicious meal that you've made. So you're going to enjoy that meal. It's going to keep you full. And if you can reinterpret the snack as something that's there just in case to tide you over, then I think it's going to help your health and wellness. It's going to help your weight loss if that's what you're going for. And I think anything we can do to simplify decisions around food, if we're someone like me who has a lot of emotion and a lot of problem, a lot of overthinking, a lot of spiraling out of control associated with food, then that helps. The less I have to think when I'm in front of a cupboard, unless I'm making one of my set meals, the better. And for me, I have the same breakfast every day, which I can show you. I mean, I have a protein shake every day, and I don't have that because I'm vegan or because I need protein or anything. It's because I enjoy it, and the only other thing I would really have is toast, and I don't want to have that, but I can go into that in another video. So, you know, I enjoy making a delicious lunch. I enjoy making a delicious dinner. And everything outside of that in the house doesn't require a lot of thought. So when I do go out for a meal, or I go out and I think, gosh, I want an ice cream, or, you know, whatever, I can enjoy that experience because I haven't been spoiling that notion of a treat while I'm at home every single day. And let's be honest, I never enjoyed my snacks really. They were there as, I was just stuffing them in. I was just stuffing them in the mouth. Boredom, comfort. We've all been there, I'm sure. So I think, you know, my takeaway is if you can just start to look at, why am I snacking? When am I snacking? What am I doing while I'm snacking? Am I mindlessly standing in front of the fridge, just shoving chunks of cheese in my mouth? We've all been there. And I think if it's just, even if it's the slowest of progress, even just changing, even just one day, you can change a snack for something better and start to get out of that mindset that we've all been sort of indoctrinated into, that somehow we have to graze all day long. We don't. And if you eat well and you eat for health and wellness and to nourish your body and soul and mind and all of that woo-woo stuff, you won't need it anymore. That's the aim. And if you do need it, it's because what your body needs in that moment. Okay, I hope that's been a bit helpful. Anyway, I hope you've all had a great week and you're having a fantastic weekend. Let me know in the comments if there's any great snacks that you enjoy. And if you would give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing, that would mean the world to me, because I'm trying to grow this new small channel. I love being here on YouTube and connecting with you all. So enjoy the weekend and I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.